That child at the school is. Yeah, 7 sets. Boring. What happened to your 7 sets? Who is winning?
Benitez will be returning to his former club for this. Osselu and Fernandes all getting a start. Liverpool will be looking to consolidate their place at the top of the Premier League standings when they take on Newcastle this afternoon. Right, we'll just draw that one to a quick conclusion because the match at Anfield is about to get underway. We're bringing you independent off-tube studio commentary of Premier League leaders Liverpool against the Newcastle side who start this match 5 points clear of the relegation zone. It's myself, Tom McGarry, and Dan Pickering talking you through this afternoon's coverage. Liverpool looking to make it 8 wins in a row in the Premier League. They've been on a fantastic run of form. 4 points clear, of course, of Manchester City going into this afternoon's fixtures. It's going to be a tall order for a Newcastle side who won that many games of late. Drew 0-0 at home against Fulham last time out. It could be a case of Rafa Benitez's side sitting back and trying to soak up the pressure. They're playing a 4-4-1-1 formation today with Osselu leading the line up front, so should be plenty of Liverpool possession, I would suggest. Dan, what are your thoughts coming into the game?
3 words, one word: traffic. I think this one's going to be. Newcastle barely got into Fulham's half the other day on Saturday in a drab goalless draw, and they just sat back in that one. So certainly, you'd have thought are going to in this one. It's going to be up to Liverpool to break them down. I'm surprised Liverpool after Jurgen Klopp chose to rest at least one of the front 3, but hasn't done so, much to the dismay of Rafa Benitez when he read the team sheet, no doubt.
Yeah, just the 3 changes from Liverpool today: Alexander-Arnold, Wijnaldum and Shaqiri coming into the lineup. It's Newcastle who've made wholesale changes. Just about half the side has been replaced from the team that lined up against Fulham. Liverpool looking to get some early possession though. Sadio Mane out to Andy Robertson, overlapping down the left-hand side like he enjoys to do. Mane once again involved, links up with Firmino. Lovely little give and go between those two. Salah involved as well on the edge of the Newcastle penalty area. Still Newcastle haven't scrambled it away. Eventually Lascelles slides in on Mane with a clean challenge and actually might have hurt himself in the process. Jamal Lascelles has gone down, clutching the top of his quad, and I just wonder, just by the looks of that, he may well have pulled something. It could even be cramp, even though it's a very early stages of the game.
I think it was a stamp from Mane, not intentional by any stretch, but that's better than it being a muscle pull, isn't it? Obviously, he's probably going to be able to just run that one off.
Yeah, just a sore one. That's just the way he was grabbing the top of that leg. It did look momentarily like he might have just pulled something, but he's back up on his feet, and Liverpool are playing on down the left-hand side. Robertson has possession of the ball. Newcastle with plenty of bodies back, and Robertson actually ricochets his pass against his own teammate Jordan Henderson, and it goes out of play for a Newcastle throw-in. So a couple of minutes on the clock already. Liverpool seeing plenty of the ball. It's DeAndre Yedlin though for Newcastle, sends the throw-in down the line, looking towards Yoshinori Muto, and the ball's headed back out to play for another Newcastle throw-in. Liverpool, of course, with this brilliant defensive record this season, just 7 Premier League goals conceded, and it's going to be very difficult for Newcastle to break them down in this game. But Yedlin making yards down the right-hand side, and his cross ricochets off Robertson, I think possibly for a throw-in away against Burnley. Yerry Mina on the score sheet after just crucial for Newcastle.
Yeah, they are. They're normally decent from them in terms of defending them, and
Newcastle head that gets there first. Federico Fernandez at the far post could only really head it up into the air rather than back across the danger zone, but it was half an opportunity for Newcastle. They are a decent physical side. Lascelles and Fernandez will both be threats coming forward from the back, and interesting to see that one again actually. I'm not sure if Fernandez just mistimed his jump or whether the flight of the ball was just too high for the former Swansea man to control his header, but in terms of a game where Newcastle, we don't expect they're going to create very much, that was half an opportunity.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Set pieces, if they are going to get any joy going forward at all, could be crucial this afternoon. I think there was just a fraction too much height on the corner that came in. It was a decent corner, and Fernandez, like you say, couldn't get it back across goal. It went straight up in the air, and the danger was cleared.
Yes, now Liverpool back on the attack. Ball flicked infield to Mane, who's been busy early doors. He turns away from Mo Diame, but can't thread the ball through. Arnold, who clips a searching ball down the channel that Paul Dummett will have to deal with, and he Newcastle forcing us down the left hand side, goes back in, nullify the spaces in their own final third.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they have to do. They're just going to get us forward and give us some assist there for Joselu, who doesn't want to be too isolated on the few occasions Newcastle try and counter-attack.
Yeah, just 2 goals for Joselu so far this season, back leading the line in place of Solomon Rondon, who's on the bench this afternoon. DeAndre Yedlin now has possession for Newcastle, flicks it down the right-hand channel. It's a good searching ball as well. Muto, who's probably the most likely player to get close to Joselu, has it, flicks it back into Yedlin once again. Newcastle retaining possession. Ball worked back to Fernandez on the halfway line. He's looking for an out ball, plays it down the channel to Yedlin once again, who's got forward a couple of times in this game already. Whips the ball into the box, comfortably dealt with by Dejan Lovren for Liverpool, and now Andy Robertson should be able to complete the clearance, but all he can do is turn it out play on the on the turn and out for a Newcastle throw-in, and it is positive from Newcastle. We've seen in that latest attack they're trying to get bodies forward when they do have the ball.
Yeah, full-backs, particularly Yedlin, have got forward as well, so it looks like they might try and at least be on the front foot a little bit more than might have been predicted pre-kick-off. They've still got possession here. Fernandez, little chip ball forward with too much on that one, goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, not the best quality on that occasion from Fernandez. As I say, Newcastle 5 points clear of the relegation zone. I'm sure Rafa Benitez won't admit this, but it's almost a free hit coming into this game. It would be bonus points if they could get anything against the league leaders, as I mentioned, on this fantastic 7-match winning run in the Premier League, looking to extend that to 8 this afternoon. But Newcastle giving it as good as they've got in these opening exchanges. The ball worked out to the left-hand side, whipped into the penalty area by Ritchie, headed clear by Lovren, but Yedlin will pick up the pieces once again on the Newcastle right, floats it into Muto back now to Diame, and they've worked it across to the left-hand flank, crossing position once again, whipped in towards the far post, good delivery, and it's a free header at the far stick for Joselu. He might just be unsighted by Virgil van Dijk. I think it is jumping in front of him, but that is probably more than half an opportunity.
Oh, definitely. Great opportunity for Newcastle. Ritchie swinging one in, brilliant ball in, just getting over the head of Van Dijk, and Joselu's headed that down into the ground, and should have been hitting the target, should have been putting the away side a goal up.
Yeah, really good opportunity there for Newcastle. Still Liverpool 0, Newcastle 0, but it's been quite an even start to this game, and it's actually the visitors who've created the best opportunity by far. Good patient play from Newcastle inside the Liverpool half led to Matt Ritchie whipping the ball in from the left-hand side. It was over the head of Virgil van Dijk, right on to Joselu, who might have been unsighted by the Dutch central defender, but really a free header no more than 6 yards out. He should have been doing a lot better. He heads it into the ground and wide of the target. From a corner as well, Newcastle had half an opportunity. Kennedy's cross, though, was just a little bit too high for Federico Fernandez. Liverpool seeing plenty of the ball, but not really creating as of yet.
No, but Liverpool are here. Salah threatened to find his way through to goal, just couldn't quite take the ball in his stride. The danger not cleared yet for the visitors. Liverpool still in possession on the edge of the penalty area. It's Robertson just hugging the left-hand touchline, rolls the ball into the feet here of Firmino. Firmino gets the ball across, and that's a great opportunity there for Shaqiri. He's appealing for a corner, but I didn't see a touch off a Newcastle player. He's just scuffed the shot. He was no more than 9 yards out in the middle of the goal, and he should have been putting the home side in front.
He should have been. That's a real sitter, really, by a player of Xherdan Shaqiri's standards, on his left foot as well, his favoured foot, and he just doesn't make the connection he's looking for. It's good play down the left between Firmino and Mane to create the chance for Jurgen Klopp applauding on the sideline, but Shaqiri really should have been finding the back of the net, anything on target there, and Martin Dubravka would have been struggling. But first big opportunity of the match for Liverpool, and certainly a warning sign as we pass the 10-minute mark for Newcastle United, as actually won the ball back, the Magpies on the halfway line, only momentarily. It's picked up by Liverpool once again. Firmino floats it over the top. Mane's knocked down to good one to Shaqiri again on his left foot. This time Diame comes across, and it'll be Liverpool's first corner.
Yeah, just starting to turn the screw Liverpool, aren't they, having had that scare at the other end. If you're going to defend Shaqiri slightly on that opportunity, the ball was just a touch behind him, wasn't it? But he actually even had time to take a touch and then take the strike. So another ball comes in here, and there comes the strike, and Liverpool have taken the lead, and it's Lovren, unlikely goal scorer, on the half volley, rifles it into the roof of the net.
It's a brilliant strike from Dejan Lovren, such difficult technique. Newcastle, the defensive header clear was a poor one. It lands perfectly for Lovren, and Liverpool have taken an early lead. Liverpool have broken the deadlock at Anfield. They lead Newcastle by a goal to nil. It's an unlikely goal scorer, though, centre-back Dejan Lovren, but it wasn't a defender's finish. It's a first-class rifled half volley into the roof of the net. Liverpool take a short corner. Newcastle fail to deal with the ball when it eventually comes in. Jamal Lascelles, it's a poor header away. It lands perfectly for Dejan Lovren, but he's still got so much work to do on the half volley with his right foot. It's a brilliant connection from the Croatian international. No chance for Dubravka as the ball flies high into the roof of the net. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0.
Yeah, from a defensive point of view, Newcastle were disappointed, particularly with the header from Lascelles. He's I wouldn't say he had time, but he had the option of just flicking that one on out of the way of the danger zone towards the corner flag. Instead opted to head it back into the centre of the goal, and if that falls to an opposition shirt, you're always going to be in trouble. Having said that, it is a brilliant finish on the half volley. Very easy to sky that one, but he's managed to keep it down enough to send it rifling into the roof of the net. Dubravka, absolutely no chance, and Newcastle will be disappointed having made a fairly bright start.
Yeah, they will, because they were playing some nice football and keeping Liverpool at bay, but then they had that Shaqiri chance, and less than 2 minutes later, Lovren was putting the ball into the back of the net to give Liverpool the lead, and the last thing Rafa Benitez would have wanted would be to concede a goal inside the first 15 minutes. It really puts a lot of pressure on Newcastle, whose game plan is unlikely to change. I imagine they will still sit back, but they now have to really, at some point in the game anyway, will have to push on and try and create opportunities, but for the time being, I expect it'll be a case of sitting back and playing as they have been in these opening minutes. But Liverpool with the advantage. Sadio Mane just can't quite take the ball in his stride on the halfway line, but Liverpool quickly win possession back. Alexander-Arnold searching ball over the top, looking for Mohamed Salah, who seems like the central striker today, with Firmino playing slightly behind Shaqiri to the danger zone. It's just he ends up putting it on a plate for Lovren, who finishes superbly.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? I mean, there was still a lot to do for the defenders, particularly from a centre half, but if you've got the option, I think, of just flicking that on and putting it out of the danger zone, I don't think you should be heading it back into the middle of the goal. Always presents potential danger, and that proved to be the case. Liverpool a goal to the good. Their Merseyside neighbours Everton already 2 to the good. Lucas Digne with the second, so they're already 2-0 up away at Burnley.
Yeah, good day so far for the teams from Merseyside, as Liverpool look to come forward again. It's Robertson, left-hand side cross deep towards the far post, over the head of Sadio Mane, who was the only player really in there. Matt Ritchie can now clear his lines for Newcastle. Looks long towards both Muto and Hosselu, but it's in between the two Newcastle forwards. Liverpool can recycle possession again and work it out to the left-hand side, where Robertson is always an outlet. Wijnaldum now gets involved into the feet of Mane. Again, Robertson to his left, goes into Firmino, who backheels it confidently instead to Jordan Henderson. Now Xherdan Shaqiri back into Henderson once again. Liverpool looking to probe Newcastle with everyone inside their own half, and a good 10 yards or so inside their own half as well. Wijnaldum now out to Robertson. We're in already a crucial period, these next 5 or 10 minutes. The last thing Newcastle can afford to do is concede a second goal. Already they really need to just try and hang on in there and keep themselves in the game.
Yeah, just need to not panic, not steady, just try and keep the ship steadied here. They're in a good defensive shape as the Army cuts this one out. Muto brings that one down on the chest, and could be a chance here for a counter-attack for Newcastle.
Yeah, lovely ball from Hosselu down the channel, and Muto in the end, I think. It's Isaac Hayden wants the free kick. It looked like he probably slipped on the edge of the Liverpool penalty area, but he may have been helped on his way. Incidentally, Manchester City have taken the lead away at Leicester as well. Bernardo Silva scored for Pep Guardiola's side, who were looking to return to winning ways after their defeat to Crystal Palace the weekend. Of course, City, Liverpool's nearest rivals in the title race, but Liverpool already 1 goal in front. That Dejan Lovren goal. Newcastle were a little bit sloppy from the short corner as well. No one got out to close the cross down, and that meant they were a little bit stretched. And as you say, Lascelles' headed clearance could have been a lot more convincing. Even if he was conceding a corner, that would have been better than putting it straight on the right boot of Dejan Lovren, who still finished in emphatic fashion, as Spurs have now taken the lead at home against Bournemouth. So a lot of the big sides making early statements on Boxing Day. The early kickoff, of course, if you missed it, it finished Fulham 1, Wolves 1, with games to come later on this service at 5:30, Brighton against Arsenal, and then at 7:30 or 7:45, I should say, we have Watford against Chelsea. But apart from the goal and that Shaqiri chance that came just before that, Newcastle are defending well, and they are, out of the sides in the bottom half of the table, probably one of the stronger teams from a defensive point of view. So it is going to be difficult for Liverpool to break them down and score what could potentially be a killer second goal.
Yeah, I think that's why they'll be so disappointed with where the goal went in, because I think they could handled sort of being cut open by this Liverpool side, but just a high ball into the box they'll be really disappointed with, because they're usually quite good at clearing such danger, and more danger here for Newcastle as Fernandes has conceded a corner.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about the decision. He felt the last touch came off Mo Salah, but it is a Liverpool corner. Virgil van Dijk, Lovren again, making his way forward from the back. We mentioned Newcastle's threats from set pieces, but Liverpool have certainly got some aerial prowess in there as well. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold who's going to take this set piece for the home side. Plenty of bodies grouped around the penalty spot waiting for the delivery. Whipped in by Alexander-Arnold. Good delivery as well. Newcastle just about scramble it clear, but it was whipped in at pace towards the near post. Newcastle might actually be able to launch a counter-attack. The ball worked out to the right-hand side. Half an opportunity. Kennedy driving forward, goes down, and the referee belatedly, perhaps with a little bit of help from his assistant, has gave the free kick in Newcastle's favour.
Yeah, Jordan Henderson arguing his case. The referee seemed to take an edge, didn't he, to give the free kick. It wasn't like he was trying to play an advantage, because there was clearly not one on. So it might well have been a word from the linesman there to brought a halt to that counter-attack, and if the free kick's going to be given, you'd expect to see a yellow card, which hasn't been the case.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same. He had a couple of bites there, Jordan Henderson, to bring Kennedy down. Not much contact with either, but enough with the Brazilian moving at that kind of pace to force him to the ground, as Matt Ritchie will take the free kick for Newcastle. Good angle for his left foot to whip this in from the right-hand side. It's a good delivery headed towards goal, straight down the throat of Alisson. In the end, it was Muto who got up at the front post, perhaps a suspicion of offside as well, as Liverpool now counter-attack. Ball played through to Mane, and had his touch been a little bit better, then he would have been bearing down on Martin Dubravka's goal.
Yeah, he should have been, shouldn't he? Just seemed to step over the ball and just didn't quite sort his feet out there, Mane. If he had, he would have been through on goal. It was poor defending again from Newcastle. There's the easy ball straight through the heart of the defence, and they still haven't learned from that, as Mane is in again here, and he could be making it too. Dubravka does well, and does partially blocks that one, and the clearance eventually made by the Newcastle defence, but all the pressure here from Liverpool.
Yeah, Newcastle can't get hold of the ball, and when they lose it cheaply like they have done, it's giving Liverpool opportunities. Alexander-Arnold for the Reds. Incidentally, Leicester have equalised at home against Manchester City. Mark Albrighton has made it one apiece at the King Power Stadium. Spurs' goal came through Christian Eriksen. They lead Bournemouth by a goal to nil. Another side on the coattails of Liverpool at the top of the standings, but Liverpool in this game controlling possession. It's Dejan Lovren, the score of their goal, into Jordan Henderson. Again, Newcastle content to allow Liverpool to have possession around the halfway line. Lovren once more gets involved, fizzes it into the feet of Salah, whose touch under pressure from Dummett wasn't the best, and then there's a loose touch from Muto, gives possession back. Shaqiri trying to clip the ball over the top of the Newcastle defence, doesn't quite come off, but Alexander-Arnold will get hold of the pieces for Liverpool once again. He switches from right to left, right across towards Andy Robertson, who controls, plays it infield to Wijnaldum. Henderson back to halfway now with Van Dijk, and they will go again with Dejan Lovren. Liverpool, but very comfortable, very calm in possession. They, of course, don't have to really force the issue. Mane now has it into the feet of Wijnaldum. Off the clutches of Muto, releases Shaqiri now out to Alexander-Arnold, crossing position, but this time Alexander-Arnold gets it all wrong, and it will go out of play for a throw-in on the far side.
Yeah, patient build-up there from Liverpool. Did well to create the space on the right-hand side. Unlike Alexander-Arnold, he's the better crosser of the ball than that. Way overhit by everyone. Just looking at the replay of that Mane chance again, and similar to the one he had a moment or two earlier, his first touch wasn't the best, and that's given Dubravka the opportunity to make the block.
Yeah, it's a good brave goalkeeping as well from Dubravka, but still Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. The Reds dominating possession, as you would expect. Probably see more of the ball as well, since Dejan Lovren gave them the lead. They've had a couple. Keeper was really brave in coming out and smothering Mane on the edge of his zone at 6-yard box. Newcastle have had one half opportunity came from a Matt Ritchie free kick, which Yoshinori Muto got his head to, but couldn't really trouble Alisson in the Liverpool goal. So Liverpool lead this game by a 0-0, and at the moment,
so that one could be over already as far as Everton and Burnley are concerned. Most like Burnley, like compared to last season, of course, when they were so tight at the back. Newcastle here with a chance, and it's Rich didn't quite catch it as he would have liked, and it goes 3 or 4 yards wide of Alisson's upright. The keeper was very confident it was going wide, didn't bother to make the dive, but still a little bit of promise here from Newcastle. Just play the ball down the left-hand side this time. I think Richie was expecting Muto to make that run a little bit sooner, and therefore was easily cut out by the Liverpool defence.
Yeah, it's Gylfi Sigurdsson from the penalty spot that's got Everton's third goal. They're clearly responding from their 6-2 defeat to Tottenham on Sunday, and Tottenham also riding on the crest of a wave. They're 2-0 up now at home against Bournemouth, so plenty of early goals in the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League. We've reached the quarter mark in this contest, the one we're watching. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0. Dejan Lovren's goal. The difference between the two sides, I'll hand you over now to Dan to take you through to the half-time whistle.
Yeah, reached the quarter mark, and it's gone quickly as there's been action all the way, really. Liverpool looking much more the dangerous of the sides with the vast majority of the possession, which they have right now with Alexander-Arnold. Just plays it inside to Shaqiri. Shaqiri with that wonderful left foot, and played it out to Robertson, who first time hit the cross in, looked threatening until Dubravka came out and claimed, but plenty of room down both flanks at the moment for the league leaders.
Yeah, Newcastle keeping it tight and narrow, aren't they, trying to stop Liverpool's threat through the middle of the park, but that is leaving space for Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson on either flank, and Robertson in particular have been getting forward to good effect down that left-hand side. It's almost a case Newcastle are having to sacrifice that, because if they do make the game too wide, then there's going to be space in behind for Firmino, Salah coming from the central areas. So at the moment it's a case of damage limitation from a Newcastle point of view.
Yeah, it certainly is, as they play a long ball forward. Fernandes it was looking for Joselu, but nowhere near finding him. It was Heung-min Son who got the second goal for Spurs. He's been in great form of late, of course, for the Londoners. Liverpool just playing a long ball forward this time, bit of a hopeful ball, unlike them. And it's Firmino into Shaqiri. Nice little flick there from Shaqiri, and just took a little flick off Fernandes, which stopped it finding Salah, who would have been in through one goal.
Yes, a clever idea, isn't it, from Shaqiri? You can see he's playing with confidence, and he's trying to from Salah and into the grasp of Dubravka, all over the pitch.
Yeah, Shaqiri, he's done well, hasn't he, since he came into Liverpool? There's a few eyebrows raised, thinking why on earth would Liverpool need Shaqiri when they did sign him? They didn't pay too much money in modern day terms for him, 12-13 million, and whenever he's been called upon, he has had an effect for them.
Yeah, he certainly has. I think it's a case of he's a good player in a good team, which brings the best out of him even more. He's played for big teams in the past, but there's a lot of responsibility on his shoulders at Stoke, defensive responsibility as well. He doesn't really have that in this Liverpool side, so he's allowed to play, he's allowed to create, and yeah, he's certainly been a good signing.
Yeah, he certainly has, as Liverpool just confidently play around at the back. A little bit of pressing here from Newcastle, which they haven't really done up to this point. Ball ricochets, I thought ricocheted off Ritchie, but they have actually won the throw-in there, Newcastle. Taking a little from Muto outside of the boot, plays it out to the right hand side with Yedlin. Yedlin puts the ball in, but far too close, and catch and practice there for Alisson, and he sets away Shaqiri quickly on the inside right position. Shaqiri keeps going, unchallenged as yet to Salah. Nice little ball in from Salah, but just a little bit too high, and the chance has gone there for Liverpool, but looking very dangerous on the counter when Newcastle do get forward.
Yeah, Yedlin's initial crossing was too floated and easy for Alisson to claim, and from there the counter-attacks really swift from Liverpool. I thought Salah actually put the ball into exactly the area which you'd want from a striker, but Firmino just wasn't really going all guns blazing to try and get in at the far post, and it goes over his head. But yeah, at times when Newcastle do come forward, that's where they're at the most vulnerable, and we know Liverpool can counter with a lot of pace, so that's what they have to watch out for, really, Newcastle. It's why it's such a precarious situation, because they want to push forward, they want to try and get the equalising goal, but they quite easily get undone on the counter-attack.
Yeah, it's just getting that balance, isn't it, when you go to places like Anfield, when to drop back, when to go forward. Haven't done too bad of a job of it so far, Newcastle. Any reward is Van Dijk takes possession from a Robertson throw-in, just rolls it across to Lovren, turn gives it to Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold just dissecting Muto and Joselu as he gives it to Van Dijk. Van Dijk again to Robertson. Newcastle just content to drop off on this occasion. Looks like they might have a tactic this afternoon of dropping off, but then just occasionally doing the press just to try and catch the Liverpool defence off guard as a free kick's been awarded here for Newcastle. Didn't quite see that one. Must have been a late challenge on Hayden, much to the annoyance of Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, I didn't quite spot that either. Hayden just loses control of the ball. To me, there's nothing really in that. They both raised their legs. Henderson seems to get the ball, and Hayden wasn't really anywhere near, but he ended up on the ground, and the referees gave the free kick. I can see why Jordan Henderson was a little annoyed.
Yeah, it did seem like he was the one who got the first touch to the ball, so see why the annoyance was in places. Ritchie struggles to keep this one in, does well to do so under the challenge there from Alexander-Arnold. Cross comes in, Van Dijk, as he usually does, wins the header, and now the counter is on again for Liverpool with Mane and Firmino exchanging passes there. Diarmi does well to break this one up into the feet of Muto. Muto is just going to try and test the pace there of Van Dijk, but of course Van Dijk, with his fantastic positional player, does get there first. Manchester United incidentally have taken the lead against Huddersfield. I think it was Matic there, the goal scorer for United. So the so-called big clubs doing well so far this afternoon. There's Lovren out to Robertson. Half an hour now on the clock, and Liverpool leading the table, of course, a goal to the good. Robertson still in possession here. It's actually Henderson who took over as he went down the left flank, had Hayden for company, and Hayden's sliding tackle puts it out for a throw-in for Liverpool, which Robertson will take. Don't take too much time over these things, Liverpool. Like to keep the game flowing. Poor ball in this time towards Shaqiri. Half cleared there by Newcastle, but the lack of numbers forward, they've given possession away again. Alisson to Alexander-Arnold. Arnold back inside to Lovren. Van Dijk to Robertson again. This little ball into the feet here of Shaqiri, who finds himself on the left-hand side this time. Little clip ball forward. Salah does well to keep possession, and Liverpool looking dangerous on the edge of the area. Firmino into Alexander-Arnold and just manages to put the ball behind Mane there, otherwise it surely would have been a tap-in.
Yeah, really good patient play from Liverpool once. Nicely from Wijnaldum to Firmino on the right-hand side. He played it into the overlapping Alexander-Arnold, who just pulled it back towards when they want to go through the gears. They're capable of doing it whenever they feel like it.
Yeah, it was just one of those crosses that just you couldn't have dissected the three forward players any better if you tried, wasn't it? So unlucky on that occasion. Liverpool again with Alexander-Arnold in the inside right position here, moving forward. Little clip ball forward towards Salah. Must have taken a touch off a Newcastle man. That might have been Ritchie, as a corner has been awarded. But Liverpool just starting to turn the screw here, putting a lot of pressure on the Tynesiders' defence. Big men going forward again for Liverpool. Van Dijk and Lovren to name two of them. The corner is going to be a left-footed in-swinger from Shaqiri. Shaqiri near post, not the best corner. It's a good header actually, because he did well there. I think it was Fernandez not to put it out for another throw-in. It's just another corner. It's just going to be another throw-in for Liverpool, taken quickly, not giving Newcastle any time to set the defence. And that's a hook ball forward towards Van Dijk, and for a centre half, that's a superb touch from Van Dijk as he lays it back into the feet of Robertson. Robertson hits the first man. Newcastle do have the chance here to at least try and get out of their own half, but can't quite manage to do so, because again it's a poor clearance, and the pressure really being pumped up here now by Liverpool. And just as I say that, Newcastle do manage to get the ball here with Ritchie down the left-hand side, and that's just a long, hopeless punt forward. Possession given away again.
Yeah, poor from Matt Ritchie. Needs to retain possession a lot better. Liverpool continue to lead Newcastle by a goal to nil, and they continue to dominate in this game, seeing so much of the ball, and when they want to go through the gears, it feels like it's very difficult for Newcastle to stop them. They're not creating too much. Having said that, Liverpool, we have seen a nice move that ended in Trent Alexander-Arnold flashing the ball across the edge of the 6-yard box, actually behind the three Liverpool players who were getting in there. So it was a close, but not close enough from a Liverpool point of view. Newcastle offering very little going forward, hanging on in there at the moment. It's Liverpool 1, Newcastle 0.
Liverpool again here with Wijnaldum. Takes a little flick here off Diarmi, goes out of play. Although it looks like the throw-in might have been given to the visitors, so must have taken a second ricochet there off Wijnaldum as the ball just punted forward along. Again, Muto challenging Lovren for the ball, but as you'd expect, Lovren winning to the other, finding Robertson well, although that's read well on this occasion by Hayden, who manages to nick the ball away. Wouldn't imagine he's going to have the speed there to run away from his marker. Indeed he doesn't. Does look like he might well have won a free kick, which is about the best he could have done there.
Yeah, it's decent play. It's what you want when you're sitting back. Newcastle, when they do get the ball, they need to hold on to it and try and draw free kicks just to allow the defence to push up, give them a little bit of a breather. But immediately from the free kick, the possession is wasted. It's the last thing Newcastle can afford to do. When they get it, they've got to try and keep it and just try and allow the defence to have some kind of a breather.
Yeah, not getting that at the moment, and you might think that Liverpool might not be too far away from doubling this lead. Van Dijk just inside the centre circle, gives it to Lovren. Lovren again back to Van Dijk. Newcastle, as the pattern of the match has emerged, just dropping off, holding the shape, saying to Liverpool, come on then, try and get through these two banks of four. Van Dijk trying to wave a couple of his teammates forward, slightly frustrated that there wasn't a forward ball on to Alexander-Arnold. Clever little ball into Wijnaldum. Always that switch of play ball on to either full-back, which is the case again here, as Firmino just looked a little lax on the ball there, allowing Muto to nick it away from him, and Muto indeed wins a free kick. Tottenham have gone 3 goals up. Lucas Moura, the third goal scorer for Tottenham this afternoon.
Yeah, Muto there for Newcastle did really well. Second time, just getting hold of the ball and drawing the challenge, drawing the free kick. There's not much in it from Roberto Firmino's point of view, but as soon as he feels the contact, Muto, he goes down and it just relieves the pressure. It's a free kick in a similar position to where Newcastle had one 2 or 3 minutes ago, and they immediately gave possession away. They need to try and retain it from this one.
Yeah, they do, but seems to have been just long balls forward from these set pieces, obviously hoping that Joselu or one of the other big men can get a head onto it.
Yes, mommy. Yes. Coming.
Very, very soft, isn't it? There's just a slight pull up. To see those given, I don't think, and it's Salah himself who's going to be taking this penalty to try and double the lead.
Yeah, but the letter of the law probably was a spot kick, but I'm not sure if Mo Salah would have been going down had that been on the halfway line. He's the man to step up, left-footed. Dubravka guesses the right way, but it's a really good penalty from Salah, low into the bottom corner, and Liverpool, right at the start of this second half, have doubled their lead.
Yeah, disastrous start to the half, isn't it, for Newcastle? Confident penalty from Salah right into the corner. Like you said, Dubravka went the right way, but absolutely no chance.
Perfect start to the second period for Liverpool. They've doubled their lead against Newcastle. They're now 2-0 up, and the second goal comes from the penalty spot. Mo Salah with a low drive. Martin Dubravka guesses the right way but can't get anywhere near it. It's a quality penalty from Salah, who won the spot kick as well. Slightly soft decision, you would have to say. There is a little bit of a coming together between Salah and Paul Dummett. Not much contact, probably enough for the spot kick to be awarded, but Newcastle may well feel a little hard done by. It's a long way back for them in the game now. It's Liverpool 2, Newcastle 0.
Yeah, right, more or less right from the kickoff, wasn't it? And a really bad start there for Newcastle, and they've gone 2 goals down. I still don't know if they'll try and come out and try and get back into this one quite as yet, because judging by previous games against the top sides like Manchester City, they've waited until very late on before committing men forward. So we'll see how the pattern of play goes. I suspect it might continue as it has done so far, but just can't give penalties away like that, really. It was silly from Dummett, really. Didn't even need to do it, did he? He had another defender in front of Salah, so Salah still had a lot to do there, and they're on the attack again here with Salah down the left-hand side this time.
Yeah, this time Lascelles comes across and puts in a good challenge, but yeah, it was all a little unnecessary from Dummett. He didn't need to make the tackle. It was just a little niggle. He was almost pulling out of it as he was doing it, but still, he gave the referee a decision to make, and I think we can really begrudge Graham Scott pointing to the spot, but Liverpool now in complete control of this game, and it's going to take a really big effort from Newcastle to try and salvage anything from the match. Liverpool in possession, as Dan says. It's going to be interesting to see if Newcastle do throw caution to the wind. I think they'll be a little scared to do that at this stage of the game. It might continue to be them sitting back for large spells, certainly for the next 10-15 minutes or so, if the scoreline remains at 2-0. Newcastle are looking to come forward as I speak. It's Yedlin down the right-hand side, checks and pulls the ball back towards Muto. Those two linking up again. In fact, it might be Hayden going towards the byline, and he's worked a potential crossing angle. He goes down under a challenge from Sadio Mane, looking hopefully towards the referee. Mane looks a little bit rueful. I think the free kick might actually have been given. Hayden does initially well. Not much contact, a slight coming together, and he throws himself to the ground. So if this is a free kick to Newcastle, again, it's a soft decision.
Yeah, it was not dissimilar to that penalty award, actually. I think Hayden's realised he hasn't got the speed to get past Mane. It's what you'd call a good old fashioned shoulder barge, isn't it, really? And just soft. Actually, the corner was given in the end, so I was judging by Mane's reaction that the free kick had been given, but it wasn't in fact a corner.
Yeah, I don't know where the referee got the corner from. Possibly he wasn't sure if it was a free kick, so he just went with that, and the corner actually came to nothing in the end. Liverpool defended it reasonably well. Newcastle back in possession, but all the way with their goalkeeper Dubravka, who floats it out to Yedlin on the right-hand side. Ball flicked further forward by Hayden, and it ricochets almost back to Yedlin, who then commits a foul in the middle of the park, brings Jordan Henderson, the Liverpool skipper, down, and it's very difficult to know where Newcastle go from here. Do they throw bodies forward? There's still 40 minutes to play. There's not a right or wrong time to do it necessarily, but if they did start to commit bodies forward, then Liverpool are capable of scoring 3, 4, 5 goals and racking up a really heavy victory.
Yeah, and I think Rafa's even gone as far as just protecting goal difference in these sort of games, hasn't he? So I wouldn't expect that to be the case, certainly not yet anyway, and Liverpool taking advantage of that, just still passing the ball around at will.
Yeah, Liverpool themselves might be looking to boost their own goal difference. Robertson and Salah linking up down the left-hand side. It's the Scotland international who whips it back into Salah. Good chest control, gets towards the byline, lifts it towards the far post where there's players coming in. They actually, potentially, Shaqiri and Alexander-Arnold getting each other's way, and it's Kennedy who can lash the ball clear for Newcastle up towards the head of Hosselu. Flicked it on towards Muto, but those two can't quite combine, and Liverpool can gather possession once again. But you do sense that if we're going to get a third goal in this game, it's still Liverpool much the more likely of the two to get it. Shaqiri has possession in the middle of the park, switches across to Robertson, who continues to be an outlet for Liverpool down the left-hand flank. Henderson now involved in a more central position, flicks the ball out to Lovren on halfway, and now Van Dijk takes over again. Newcastle with everyone inside their own half, continuing to try and nullify the space in behind, but we had these periods in the first half.
So it looked the least danger for Newcastle, wasn't it, when Liverpool were having all the possession? They were breaking well, Liverpool, when Newcastle did forage into the Liverpool half. Hopeless ball forward there, and easily cut out by Dubravka.
Yeah, because it was Alexander-Arnold going for an ambitious crossfield pass that didn't come off, floated harmlessly into the hands of Dubravka, but then Lascelles has given the ball away for Newcastle. There might be a chance for Liverpool. Mane in behind, he's got two players in the 6-yard box, tries to feed it to Firmino at the far stick, and it's a really important interception from Federico Fernandez to bail out his central defensive colleague.
Yeah, it was horribly given away, wasn't it? Liverpool straight in on the attack, and Mane, if anything, had too much time. It was Firmino who was trying to pick out, couldn't quite get past the first man, and Newcastle just hanging on here.
Yeah, it's as you say, Mane probably had far too much time. He could have pulled it back to Salah, looked towards Firmino at the far post, and credit Federico Fernandez, he picked up a good defensive position. As now Newcastle go forward, cross from Yedlin, and the header towards goal isn't a million miles away from Hosselu. Agonisingly from a Newcastle point of view, it just floats and drifts wide of the far post.
Yeah, not dissimilar chance to one Hosselu scored earlier in the season. I think it was against Wolves on that occasion. The ball came in, it's a decent header. The ball's actually slightly behind him, so he's done well to flex the neck muscles and just puts it a yard wide.
Chances at both ends at Anfield. It's still Liverpool 2, Newcastle 0. First of all, Liverpool came close to making it 3-0. Jamal Lascelles with a mistake at the back for Newcastle, giving possession away. That led to Sadio Mane getting in behind, and he almost had too much time to assess his options. He could have pulled it back for Salah. He looked towards Firmino at the far post, but there was Federico Fernandez with an important interception. At the other end, cross from the right-hand side from DeAndre Yedlin, perfectly onto the head of Joselu, who can't really do much more of the header. He's trying to guide it towards the far post, but it floats from his point of view agonisingly wide of the target. It's Liverpool 2, Newcastle 0.
Yeah, 2-0, but Liverpool firmly in control here, really, as they are playing it around at the back again with Van Dijk and Lovren exchanging passes. Newcastle just coming in a few men into the Liverpool half, but that's resulted in Liverpool again just cutting their way through the Newcastle defence. This time the through ball is overhit, and Dubravka can just watch that one go out for a goal kick, but like Tom said, it's Liverpool much more likely. Just look at a replay here of that penalty incident again. It's a really stupid challenge from Dummett, pulling back with the arm because he had Lascelles there as extra cover, and right at the start of the second half, and just really given Newcastle an uphill battle this afternoon. Far side, just near the halfway line, which Matt Ritchie is just setting up here to take. Just puts it down the line. Cleared there by Alexander-Arnold. Breaks for Liverpool again, and Robertson can set Liverpool away on another attack.
Yeah, it could be an opportunity for Liverpool down the left-hand side. Robertson just flicks the ball in field to Firmino. Theme of the game, really. He likes to drop deep and get involved in the play, as I mentioned in the first half. Seems to be playing behind Mo Salah, who's the central striker today for Liverpool, although that forward four, if you like, is very interchangeable. Alexander-Arnold now breaking forward, give and go between him and Firmino, but then the fullback's touch was a little heavy. That allows Lascelles to come across and usher the ball out of play. Of course, Liverpool being 2 goals up, there might be an opportunity. You mentioned in the first half you were a little bit surprised that front three, Firmino, Salah and Mane, were all starting, but possibly Jurgen Klopp might think about resting 1 or 2 of those over the next few minutes.
Yeah, might possibly so. If they get a third, I think that'll definitely be the case. Won't it? As Liverpool just pressing high there, putting Dubravka under a little bit of pressure. Looked like he had an easy clearance, but took a little bit more time than he should have done. Looking to get away with that one. It's gone out for a goal kick, which Dubravka will be taking for Newcastle.
Yeah, looks like it's safety first on this occasion. Long right-footed clearance out towards the left-hand side, where Newcastle head that gets there first. Once more, Joselu winning the aerial battle, but unable to find a teammate with the flick on. Alexander-Arnold will instead now take a throw-in for Liverpool about 15 yards inside his own half. He goes in towards Henderson, who returns it to the youngster, who in turn flicks the ball infield and all the way back to goalkeeper Alisson, who gets a rare touch really in the game. First time pass from him out to Robertson on the left-hand side. Now Henderson in the middle of the park allows Firmino to take over into the feet of Shaqiri, who's closed down well by Lascelles, but the ball ricochets kindly for Mane, who tries to link up with Salah. Salah's floated ball over the top, intercepted by the Newcastle defence, and Lascelles now puts his foot through the ball, looking towards Joselu. Can't quite gather it in his stride. Him and Muto have worked hard up there. I think it was actually Muto who was closest to getting onto the ball on that occasion, but really starved of service. We might get a little bit of a break in play because Jordan Henderson has gone down for Liverpool and looks in some distress. Just have a look and see where that happened. He's closing down the clearance from Lascelles, who gives him a kick, and that will be a painful one.
Yeah, it certainly will. It's part of the anatomy that you're never usually pleased to be hit with, or thought it was anyway, but it actually looks like it might well be lower down the leg in the sort of ankle region. But either way, Jurgen Klopp looking on. Won't want any injuries, of course, at this stage of the season, with fixtures coming thick and fast. Need as many of the squad fit and ready to go as possible, of course.
Yeah, a couple of club legends watching on. In Newcastle's all-time leading scorer Alan Shearer sitting next to Kenny Dalglish, a legend himself at Liverpool, and had a spell as Newcastle manager as well during the late 90s, but undoubtedly you'd say his allegiances are with Liverpool, so he'll be enjoying what he's seen so far a little bit more than and the man sitting next to him. Still Liverpool 2, Newcastle 0. Jordan Henderson is back on his feet and looks like he will be okay to continue. The game will restart with Alisson in possession inside the Liverpool goal. He passes it out to Virgil van Dijk. Now the scorer of Liverpool's opener, Dejan Lovren. Again, the Reds intent and comfortable just keeping the ball around their back line. It's Robertson now up towards the halfway. Henderson is back on the field and receives possession from the full-back and looks for a raking ball over the top. It's Salah who's made the darting run. Dubravka comes out and actually heads the ball away on the edge of his own penalty area. Clever, quick, you would say, from the Newcastle goalkeeper, because if he tried to catch that, he may well have risked coming out of the area and giving away a free kick in a dangerous position, and perhaps running the risk of
edge of the penalty area and decided to use the head. Good header it was as well. Centre half would have been proud of that one. Hasn't stopped these waves of attacks coming from Liverpool though.
Now again, Henderson looking to dink the ball over the top. You can see what he's trying to release. I think it was Jurgen Shaqiri making the run, but just a little bit overhit from Henderson. And once again, Newcastle can clear their lines, but that continues to be really all they're doing at the moment. We've ticked past the hour mark. Liverpool 2, Newcastle 0. That early second half penalty that was won and converted by Mohamed Salah has taken the intensity and the sting out of the game slightly, although the pattern of the match remains the same, with Liverpool dictating possession. Looks like I'm actually going to see the first change of the game imminently. Fabinho is stripped and ready to come on for Liverpool, potentially for Henderson, who picked up that knock a few minutes ago. Ball breaks for Shaqiri, who might be another contender to come off. He looks to loft the ball over the top of the Newcastle defence, headed clear by Lascelles. Diame now feels he's been fouled by Xherdan Shaqiri. Referee says play on. No, and Shaqiri has possession, pulls it back to Robertson. Robertson resists the temptation to swing the ball into the box, instead links up with Henderson, who tried. It's a give and go with Firmino and DeAndre Yedlin. That might well give us the opportunity to see the first substitution of the game, and indeed it will be the case. It is Fabinho coming on. He's been a regular starter over recent weeks, and it's not actually Jordan Henderson going off. It's former Newcastle midfielder Jorginho Wijnaldum.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed against his old club, but I think players will recognise during the busy festive period that rests need to be given at some point to each and every player, just about, if possible. So change made, and don't think it'll make too much difference in terms of the pattern of the play.
No, just fresh legs in the middle of the park. Arguably, you'd say Fabinho might be a little bit more defensive-minded than Wijnaldum, so Jurgen Klopp just putting a little bit more security in there. But in terms of the way Liverpool are set up, I don't think it will change too much, as Van Dijk's allowed to drive forward into the midfield, flicks it across to Henderson, who actually might have moved to the right of centre in the middle of the park, and Fabinho's gone to the left. Henderson in possession once again to Lovren, back to Alisson. Perhaps a little bit more of a Newcastle press, trying to force and hurry Liverpool a little bit more. Fabinho gets his first touch, goes back to Alisson once again. Lovren now right hand corner of his own penalty area. 4 Newcastle players have pushed inside Liverpool's half, but they've been bypassed, and the ball's played over the top towards Mane, who for a moment looked like he was in behind, but the referee's assistant has raised his flag. And I suppose now, best part of half an hour still to play, we're entering that area where Rafa Benitez has surely got to be thinking about perhaps bringing on fresh legs and going a little bit more attacking.
Yeah, possibly so. Just looking at the replay again, it was a lot tighter than I thought. That offside call, it was the correct decision, half a yard at most, but a correct decision, and prevented a third goal going in for Liverpool.
Yeah, Dubravka takes the resulting free kick out to the left-hand side, one in the air by Joselu. It breaks now to Matt Ritchie, who thought about the cross. There was no one there in a black and white shirt, so pulls it back to Dummett, now into the middle of the park. Kennedy ends up a bit of a blind alley, but it comes to Mo Diame, who clips the ball out to DeAndre Yedlin, who has been a good outlet for Newcastle in this game. Tees up Diame, whose looping cross into the box always favoured Alisson, and the Liverpool goalkeeper comes out and makes a relatively comfortable claim, as Paul Pogba has doubled Manchester United's advantage. They're now 2-0 up at home against Huddersfield. Could well be 2 wins from 2 for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Salah now edge of the Newcastle box, tees up Mane, who in turn invites Henderson to potentially shoot. He instead flicks the ball out to Robertson, left hand side. Touch is good from him, back into Henderson, looks to return it to Robertson. Salah actually gets in the way, but his control is good and is able to retain possession. Henderson now out to Alexander-Arnold, right hand side. Whip ball in from him, a little bit too deep, but it will come all the way through to Robertson, into Salah, corner of the Newcastle box, dinks it towards the far stick, heads go up. Dummer gets their first bicycle kick attempt by Mane, falls to Firmino again, just about on the goal line. He can't quite pull it back for a teammate, and Newcastle just about scramble it clear.
Yeah, desperate times for the Newcastle defence, being torn to shreds there really, as Liverpool had cross after cross coming in. In the end, Newcastle did well to just about clear that one, but they just cannot get a foot on the ball, can they? And Liverpool coming forward again here with Lovren.
Yeah, the problem Newcastle have is they're defending well enough and they're hanging on in there, but at some point they need to try and score a bare minimum of 2 goals, as Fabinho trying to force the ball through there to Sadio Mane. Those two not quite on the same wavelength, so the ball will drift behind for a Newcastle goal kick. They're still limiting Liverpool to only half opportunities really, but as I mentioned, they need to try and create a little bit of their own, but by doing that, and if they do look to push forward, then they will run the risk of conceding more chances at the other end. But still 25 minutes, there's still time for Newcastle, whose fans are continuing to sing at Anfield. Still time for them to work their way back into the game. Same can't be said for Bournemouth at Tottenham, because they've gone 4-0 down now in that game. Harry Kane, the scorer of Spurs' 4th goal, 10 goals in 2 matches now for Mauricio Pochettino's side, as Newcastle try and foray forward, but the attack breaks down about 30 yards from the Liverpool goal, and this is where Liverpool have looked particularly dangerous, breaking forward on the counter-attack. Robertson finds Firmino left-hand side. Robertson continues his run. Firmino instead cuts infield, looks to tee up Henderson. Van Dijk's involved in the attack as well. Space on the right-hand side for Alexander-Arnold, who flicks the ball into the box. Van Dijk's continued his run. Swing and a miss from him. Mane gathers the pieces though, releases Robertson. His cutback is good. Firmino wanted a touch when it wasn't really available, but Liverpool will get a corner.
Yeah, again, good counter-attack there from Liverpool, and it's an indictment of how the game's going when you've got Van Dijk that far forward from open play, I think, isn't it? And again, Newcastle just desperately trying to keep the ball out of the back of the net. They did so on that occasion at the expense of this corner about to come up.
Yeah, more defending for Newcastle to do as Liverpool players make their way into the box. It's the 7th corner they've won in the match. It's an outswinger this time from Shaqiri, only into the near post, dealt with comfortably enough, but the ball helped back into the penalty area. Again, it's a Newcastle head that gets there first, but Salah picks up the pieces into the feet to Firmino. Lovely turn for Firmino, and he forces Martin Dubravka into a decent save. Dubravka may well have picked up a knock in the process, but Newcastle goalkeeper worked once again. Still Liverpool 2, Newcastle 0, but Liverpool probing look, really capable of scoring a 3rd goal whenever they want to at this moment in their time. Not had too many shots on goal, although Roberto Firmino, with a nice turn in the box from an acute angle, has just forced Martin Dubravka into a smart save with his right hand. But other than that, it's been probing crosses into the box that the Newcastle defence have just about ricocheted clear. No changes from Newcastle as of yet. The only sub we've seen so far, Fabinho, has come on fresh legs in the middle of the park for Liverpool in place of Jorginho Wijnaldum. It's Liverpool 2, Newcastle 0.
Yeah, that little knock that Dubravka took there was just an inadvertent flailing arm from Salah. Certainly no intent in that. The Newcastle keeper was back to his feet fairly quickly. No serious injury or anything of the sort in place. As Newcastle have a throw-in again, they've just given the ball away easily to Liverpool, with Alexander-Arnold on that right-hand touchline. Plots it forward, trying to find Salah. Half blocked by Newcastle, but they can only put it out for throwing Kennedy there, who's barely had a kick in this game, and he wouldn't be surprised if he's subbed at some point in the next few minutes. There is another substitution here, but it's not for the visitors, it's going to be for Liverpool. And it looks like Sturridge is coming on for Firmino.
Yeah, so one of the big three up front for Liverpool is going to get wrapped up in cotton. Will Roberto Firmino replaced, and Daniel Sturridge getting some minutes on the field. limited to a substitute role throughout the campaign so far. Difficult for him to try and force his way into Liverpool's starting lineup on a regular basis, but he'll fancy his chances of getting on the score sheet in the time that remains. We're into the final quarter of the match, incidentally. Now it's Liverpool 2, Newcastle 0. I'll hand you over to Dan to take you through to the full-time whistle.
Yeah, he'll certainly fancy his chances because he has a fantastic scoring record. To Sturridge against Newcastle seems to score every time he pulls on a shirt to face them, so he'll be licking his lips at the prospect of the last 20-odd minutes here. His team are in possession at the moment with Lovren out to the right-hand side to Alexander-Arnold into Fabinho. Fabinho just a little prod back to Lovren again. In return, simple side-footed pass into the path of Van Dijk. Van Dijk trading passes with Fabinho. Out to the right again with Alexander-Arnold. Manchester City, incidentally, still being held, so this could be a fantastic day for Liverpool if results stay as they are. In fact, Tottenham will be level on points with Manchester City, I believe, if results stay as they are, with Tottenham already having the 3 points in the bag against Bournemouth. Not missing too much of the action there from Anfield as Henderson just plays simple ball once more out to the left-hand side to Robertson. Robertson to the gloved Fabinho again. Switch of play all the way out to the right, Alexander-Arnold. Plenty of opportunities to cross in the ball in here, Liverpool, but they're choosing to be patient with the build-up as Sturridge comes into the game for the first time. Twists and turns out to Alexander-Arnold, and not the best of headers there actually from Liverpool as they had space in the penalty area as Salah, a little chip ball forward, it's a good one, and Lascelles did well to get his head onto that one, and Diarmi completes the clearance, although Shaqiri picks the ball up well. Immaculate control there from the Swiss international, and that finally results in a free kick being awarded, much to the frustration of Muto as he brought Henderson to the deck.
Yeah, just a stray arm coming across, a little bit of shoulders barge as well from Muto. Not much contact, but Henderson goes down and gives Liverpool another free kick in a dangerous position. Frustrating.
Get his head onto Kennedy, also heads it clear. Again, only as far as Robertson, as Newcastle have absolutely nobody forward to pick up the pieces there, and Robertson with a crossfield pass, I was going to say forces a throw-in, but Kennedy's header was actually kept in play. Salah just twisting, turning on the edge of the penalty area, and he's forced out wide. It's gone out for what will be a corner for Liverpool.
Yeah, Kennedy working hard, but can't prevent the corner being given away, and so Liverpool might be able to take one of these opportunities that come. They've won a lot of corners in the match, plenty of free kicks. Newcastle is still just about hanging in there, 2-0 with the best part of 20 minutes to play, and we are going to see the first change of the afternoon from Newcastle. A little bit of confusion whether it's Kennedy to go off. I think it is going to be the Chelsea loanee to be replaced. And I think, is that the youngster Longstaff who's coming on?
Yeah, it was indeed. I did call this one that Kennedy's had very little influence on this game. If he's not getting on the ball, then you wouldn't really have him in there for his defensive duties. So he makes way. Like I said, the youngster Longstaff coming on for Newcastle. And his first port of call is going to be to help defend this corner, which is going to be an outswing out from the right foot of Alexander-Arnold. Not the worst corner in the world either, and Van Dijk has a couple of swings at that one, and in the end a free kick's awarded. I think it might have been from a high boot. Van Dijk, he started to look a bit of a goal threat for Liverpool the last couple of weeks.
He certainly is. He's such a physical presence in there, and the footballing ability he has as well. Just a slight nudge in the back there of Jamal Lascelles, who flung himself in the air to make the referee aware of the contact. But I just wonder if that Newcastle change, whether that's just saying that Rafa Benitez doesn't really believe they can get back into the match, and it's a case of giving a youngster an opportunity at bringing fresh legs on, rather than genuinely believing that they can get the 2 goals they need. Longstaff, good player. I've seen him play in the League Cup earlier in this season. He's a good ball-playing midfielder, but is he the player to bring on when you're trailing 2-0?
Has he got anyone to bring on when you're trailing 2-0 at Anfield? You could argue for that case, really. That doesn't have the strongest of benches. Rafa Benitez, as a cross comes in, and that's half an opportunity there. It's a difficult one for Hayden, and Newcastle probably would have had other players that rather that opportunity it fell to, because it was a high ball in, and on the volley, Hayden with the left foot just prods it wide.
Yeah, it's a really good ball from Richie on the left-hand side. Second really good delivery he's produced in this match, and it's a difficult opportunity, isn't it, for Isaac Hayden? As you say, not renowned for his goal-scoring ability. It's slightly surprising to see him the furthest man forward, but never really believed that he was going to find the back of the net with that volley, trying to side-foot it into the back of the net, but always slicing it well wide of the target.
Yeah, it was indeed, as Liverpool take over again with Fabinho. Robertson, forever just hugging the left touchline here, always supplying the opportunity for Liverpool to have that out ball, swings it across to Alexander-Arnold. Little chip ball forward here for Sturridge. Sturridge, immaculate control there, bringing it down well, and then just maybe it's a twist on turn 2 men of the afternoon. First one was a free kick, and Tottenham have got 5 now, so we'll confirm that goal scorer for you shortly. Tottenham 5, Bournemouth 0. As Liverpool win a free kick for a foul on Shaqiri. Dummett it was who was deemed to have fouled the Swiss international. A slight delay in play before this free kick is taken, and I'm with you, Tom. It looks like Newcastle are sort of settling for a 2-0 defeat.
Yeah, as you say, there's not that many options on the bench, but someone like Rondon or Perez could come on if you were genuinely looking to try and get back into the game. You'd expect one of those two to replace Kennedy, but to bring on a central midfielder for a wide man suggests they're just trying to go for damage limitations.
Yeah, they'll be looking to limit the damage here as the free kick comes in. It's deflected as it hit the 2-man wall. Shaqiri has the chance now to swing this one in, but it's a poor ball and goes straight out of play for a goal kick to Newcastle. So 76 minutes on the clock. It's Liverpool 2, Newcastle 0. And if anything, in truth be told, it's been a lot more comfortable for the home side than the 2-0 scoreline suggests. As Son it was who got Tottenham's 5th of the afternoon against the hapless Bournemouth.
Yeah, if this was Liverpool against one of the big 6, perhaps in a 2-0 scoreline, you'd still expect to see the side losing, retaining the belief and pushing forward, but we're just not seeing that from a Newcastle point of view. I mentioned in the first half that in a way this is a free hit because no one's expecting them to get any points, but so from Rafa Benitez's point of view, he doesn't want to risk losing by 4, 5, 6 goals and damaging the confidence of his side going into the rest of the festive period. The games are going to continue to come thick and fast, so I think at this moment in time Benitez would take the 2-0 defeat, move on and go into the next game where they'll have more opportunity you would expect of getting something.
Yeah, some tough games coming up. Too much. Manchester United have taken a 3-goal lead against Huddersfield, obviously securing the 3 points for the home side at Old Trafford, and Paul Pogba's got his second of the afternoon, as seems to be playing much better since the departure of his old mate Mourinho. Liverpool again in possession. Lovren cross towards Van Dijk, back to Lovren again, and bringing it out to the right hand side with Alexander-Arnold. Newcastle 2-0 down, still 11 men behind the ball. Very little intention of launching any attacks at all. Out to the right again with Alexander-Arnold, sort of half pressed by the Newcastle front players to Van Dijk. Van Dijk just into the path here of Mane. Mane on the turn has Robertson as an option on the left-hand touchline, uses that option and then receives the ball back from the Scottish international. Salah just cleverly lets that one run to Alexander-Arnold. Cross comes in, and a desperate stretch there. Could still be three as Fernandez, I think it was, who's completed the clearance. Robertson recrosses the ball in again. It comes to Sturridge, who edged the penalty area, and Henderson lays that one into Alexander-Arnold, and there it is, 3-0. Ball comes into Shaqiri, who's got the simple tap in the middle of the 6-yard box, puts it into the roof of the net, and game, set and match Liverpool.
Liverpool have wrapped up all 3 points at Anfield. Liverpool 3 and Newcastle 0 now, and Xherdan Shaqiri has got in on the act. Again, it's patient play from Liverpool. A couple of crosses came into the box. Mane actually almost scored from one, but they recycled possession nicely. The ball worked out to the right-hand side where Trent Alexander-Arnold got time and space to pick his cross, and he just side-foots it really across the 6-yard box into the path of Shaqiri, who cannot miss. Open goal, 3 or 4 yards out, and Liverpool now, it's a comfortable afternoon, and there's a bit of gloss added to the scoreline. It's Liverpool 3 and Newcastle 0.
Yeah, Alexander-Arnold was in acres of space down that right-hand side, and there was 2 or 3 Liverpool players in the 6-yard box, and saying to Trent Alexander-Arnold, take your pick, which one of us do you want to pick out? And he chose Shaqiri, who left foot just bangs it into the roof of the net. And we were saying Shaqiri does have an impact when he does make the starting 11, and he's done that certainly again today. Had a good game and tops that off with a goal as we go into the final 10 minutes. So that would stop any chance of Newcastle thinking they can get back into this one. I think they will just settle now for the defeat, move on to the next one. Might well be a free kick here as Murphy's come on as a substitute. Didn't quite see who was for, was Ritchie. So Murphy's come on for Ritchie, and he's going to be taking this free kick as the first part of his involvement in the match. The free kick's about 35-40 yards out from goal, just inside the left touchline. Van Dijk, as usual, gets head on to that one, comes back to Murphy again. It's a little chip forward, and Newcastle, can they at least get a consolation goal? Haven't threatened it too much, particularly in this second half, as they're forced all the way back here to Dubravka. Liverpool haven't lost at home against Newcastle in the last 22 meetings, and I think that is going to continue that record this afternoon. Won 18 of those 22 meetings, going to make that 19 out of the last 23, and they're going to remain top of the table. Manchester City is still drawing, incidentally, so Liverpool already 4 points clear. If the results stay as they are, they'll be 6 points clear. Tottenham will be level with Manchester City, and Manchester United, could they make the top 4 yet? Seem to be under resurgence under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. As Neil Robertson is the final substitution for Jurgen Klopp this afternoon. His race is run, had a good game down the left-hand side, and he's replaced by Klein.
Yeah, Nathaniel Klein coming on, just a chance to get minutes under his belt. A huge goal, I can tell you, has just gone in at the King Power Stadium. It's Leicester 2, Manchester City 1 now. We'll get confirmation of that scorer pretty soon, but that will have huge repercussions on the title race. Liverpool would still be 6 points clear at the top of the table as things stand, but it'll be Tottenham who are in second place, and Manchester City will be 3 defeats from 4, and they'll have slipped down to third. That's as it stands.
Yeah, certainly is. That goal's probably got as big a cheer at Anfield as any of the Liverpool goals this afternoon, and that would be a superb shot in the arm for Liverpool and Tottenham for that matter, should that result stay as it is. Still 10 minutes to go in that one. You wouldn't put it past City, of course, coming back, getting at least an equaliser, but certainly not the invincible City that they were 4 or 5 games ago at the moment. Van Dijk in possession, gives it to Nathaniel Klein, back to Van Dijk again, to Mane dropping deep here to get involved, out to the right hand side with Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's Pereira, the scorer for Leicester, to give them the lead at the King Power. Newcastle just breaking this one up. Diame breaking that one up well. And I think Diame's probably been Newcastle's best player this afternoon, and all he's done is run around a lot. Doesn't say much for their performance.
Yeah, he breaks the play up quite well. He's probably won more ball back in a Newcastle shirt than any other player, but his quality with possession hasn't been great, and that's been the problem for Newcastle when they have won the ball back. They just haven't been able to retain it.
No, they haven't. Liverpool certainly haven't. They're doing that now down the right-hand side with Mo Salah, I think it is, and he's been taken out there at the expense of a corner. I don't think it was a free kick. Slight concern there for Liverpool. Salah went tumbling close to the advertising board. Should be a free kick, shouldn't it? Because Dummett certainly gone in clumsily there.
What name kick for what?
It's the corner that has been awarded. Dummett did get to the ball, but I thought it went through Salah first. No harm done, however, as Salah's swinging. This one's a good header there, and that's gone into the back of the net, and it's Fabinho who's put that one in from no more than 3 or 4 yards out, and it's Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0.
Well, Liverpool have dominated this game, and the scoreline is certainly reflecting that. It's now Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. A very simple, routine goal. Mo Salah whipping a corner in towards the near post. There were 2 Liverpool players there queuing up at the front stick, and it's Fabinho who gets the final touch, nods the ball into the back of the net. Very static, poor Newcastle defending, and they have defended well for large spells in this match, but can't keep this one out. It's an easy finish really in the end for Fabinho, and Liverpool running riot now at Anfield. It's Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0.
Yeah, they are poor goal defensively from a Newcastle point of view, because that ball's come in. It's no more than 3 yards out. You wonder if Dubravka could have possibly come for that one. Diarmi was the closest man for Newcastle, and he didn't seem to get off the ground, so a very easy header there for Fabinho to get the 4th of the afternoon for Liverpool. It was already over, of course, before that one, but Liverpool boosting their goal difference this afternoon. We're catching up with Manchester City's, not to mention the points difference, and Liverpool might even fancy the chances of going on to get 1 or 2 more here, as they're playing the ball forward again here with Sturridge. Nice little 1-2 with Mane. Does well there to keep possession, to put it onto the right foot of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Could be crossing this one in, but elected instead play this one short. I think that's Van Dijk who's forward there again. He's been getting forward a few times this afternoon. Newcastle again just giving the ball away. They managed to clear it. It's always coming straight back in, as there's absolutely no out ball for the Geordies. Into Mane. Mane took a little bit of a clip there on the ankles from Diarmi. However, referee allows play to go on. I think he was allowing the advantage. Salah looking for a slide rule pass, but this time doesn't find its target. Rolls through to Dubravka.
Yeah, and it's been very comfortable for Liverpool, hasn't it? I think that'll be the disappointment from a Newcastle point of view, that they haven't at one point gone for it. It's not as if they pushed on at 2-0 to try and get themselves back into the game. They've continued to sit back, soak up the pressure, go for damage limitation, and they're ending up losing this game by a heavy scoreline anyway. So 1 or 2 Newcastle fans may be disappointed that they haven't at least gave it a go, because really as soon as the second goal went in right at the start of this second half, you couldn't really see a way back into the game for them.
No, there's been absolutely no chance of them getting back into it ever since that penalty went in the first minute of the second half. Very comfortable for Liverpool. Added bonus for Liverpool, of course, is that with it being comfortable, they haven't had to expend too much energy in this one either, really, because they've got a couple of tough games coming up in this festive period, including going to Manchester City, and it could be a 5th here as Mane takes the strike on, and he's put his laces through that, put it about 2 yards over the crossbar.
Yeah, it's a really good strike though from Sadio Mane. Maybe a little disappointed he hasn't hit the target, but it's a really sweet strike from the edge of, well, just inside the Newcastle area. Once he brings it down, he's had a couple of chances in this game. Lovely ball over the top as well from Lovren, floated to Mane. The first touch is good on this occasion. Perhaps DeAndre Yedlin coming across just does enough to put him off slightly, but it is a really crisp strike, and it's only a yard or 2 over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, but did the hard part well, didn't he? Bringing it down, first touch.